Hey, today I want to talk about something that I deal with a lot in dog training, and enough to the point where I'm going to put this out there so that I can refer people to it because it's so common when I'm talking with new clients about dog training. Um, it's something called rationalization, and it's a fancy sounding word. Was that rationalization? 6 syllables, huh? Big time. Sound like a smart person. I like to use simple words, and that's why I'm going to make this video to explain what it really means. Because a lot of times concepts might seem like they're hard to understand because they basically hide behind fancy sounding words. And when you really understand the concept, you're like, why did you have to make it sound so fancy? It's really like common sense. And it's no different with this rationalization. What it means, here's the definition. I'm on this website called Agents of Change Prep. It's like a test, social work test prep. It's one of many websites that have an article about what rationalization is. I just happened to click on this one. Rationalization defense mechanism, a psychological process where people create excuses to make their actions seem more acceptable, often to protect their self-image or avoid discomfort. And as you scroll down, it says, at its core, rationalization is a way to reduce internal discomfort when actions don't align with beliefs. This process happens in two key ways: conscious justification, unconscious. If you're conscious of it, it means you know that you're making excuses, but you use them you're cool with that. Unconscious is the person generally believes their rationalization, making it harder to recognize the real issue. And getting back to what it just said right here, I'm basically just reading this right off a computer screen. It says, at its core, rationalization is a way to reduce internal discomfort. You see? And when actions don't align with beliefs. And this is what I'm talking about. Like when I'm dealing with this in my line of work, someone's beliefs, actions don't align with the beliefs. It's a way to reduce the internal discomfort that people feel when they know their actions aren't aligning with their beliefs. Their beliefs are they want to do everything possible to help their dog, and that they're fully committed to doing whatever it takes to help their dog. By the way, usually I come in after people have tried a few different dog trainers. They've tried this, that, $49 special, the guy that comes in and wants to just like, whatever. And then they get to me. And so they're already understanding what their goals are, but they have this internal dialogue that they know that they what they want, their actions aren't aligning with what they truly want and what they truly believe. They believe they want their dog to be happy, but in reality they're not doing the things that they know will provide their dog the best chance to be happy. Why am I talking about this in such specific form right at the moment? It's because I'm communicating with someone right now regarding their dog. Great person. This is not to throw shade at the person at all. It's just to illustrate a point of how common this mentality is, and even in people who I think this person is really cool, even in someone like them, this seeps in, and it like, if we don't realize we're doing it, then how can we make positive changes? And my job, I put up with a lot of crap. I get people to be mad at me and then like go away for a week and then come back and realize, hey, what you said I actually realized was like legitimate, and you weren't trying to hurt my feelings. You're actually trying to help me. And it takes like certain amount of like courage to say to people, hey, you're wrong. Call me the bad guy. Don't kill the messenger, right? You know that expression exists for a meaning. It means for a reason. I mean, it means when someone gives you some news you don't want to hear, the standard human default setting is to attack that person. Like, like I don't want to hear that. And get all bent out of shape. But usually those are the people that care about you the most. They're looking towards the long term. They don't care if you're mad at them for a couple of days. It'll blow over. And these are the people that you want in your life. You don't want people in your life that are just going to tell you how great things are going to be or how great things already are, even though you know they're not. And then they disappear when it's like really adverse conditions. You want someone that'll tell you straight up, like, hey, yeah, this ain't working for you. How do you think it'll be in a year from now? Do you think it'll just magically get better? If you do, that's cool. Getting back to why I'm doing this, check it out, right? So this person is like, oh wait, I get to the wrong thing. Hold on. So this person is like having an issue with housebreaking a dog. And they're like, I'm at my wit's end, I don't know how to housebreak the dog or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool, I feel you. That's like really frustrating. I've raised puppies and I actually promised myself with the last one, I'm like, yo, I actually like sleeping through the night, and I'm not trying to raise a puppy. It's like, let somebody else do that and I'll contribute to dogs in a different way. I'm not trying to raise puppies anymore because it's hard work. And that's what I'm saying. This isn't to like criticize this person. This person is super cool. I'm just doing it because we have to show each other like how to always grow. Like, hey, look, that belief isn't working for you. Maybe do you want to challenge your own belief and I'll be like a mirror for you and give you some feedback. If I was feeling like hostility towards this person or judgment or oh, they're so silly kind of vibe, I wouldn't be able to communicate with them effectively. So they're like, I'm having a hard time training my dog to go potty. And we've been talking about this for a while. They're not really a client of mine. They're more of an acquaintance. And they're going through a lot of drama with having their dog pee and go to the bathroom and stuff inside. And they're like, how do I do this? Like I'll say this or that. I'm not trying to force knowledge on people. So then finally when they finally are like, hey, how do I do it? For real. I'm just like, it's simple. Here's what I said. The dog needs to be created when inside and let out every 2 hours to potty, eat, drink, and then go back in the crate. It's the easiest thing to teach a dog. People just feel guilty because they don't understand animals. That's exactly what I said. No emotion, no judgment. Just like, hey, look, man. If you just do it this way, the dog will get the picture. I'm not going to potty where I sleep at on my bed. Every 2 hours, this person comes. And it's not like every 2 hours, like the dog's in the closet and you don't pay attention to it for 2 hours and then go back. If the dog starts squeaking, you say, you got to go potty, let's go potty. Take it out. If it just stands there and looks at the sky like, take it back in the crate. And when it squeaks again in 2 minutes, it's like, you just say quiet or ignore it or whatever. And then in 2 hours, you let it out. Say, you want to go potty? Okay, let's eat some drink. Here's the water. Let's play with the toy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, back in the crate. It's like, that's what the dog needs. And if the person thinks that they're doing what the dog needs, but yet they're not doing what the dog needs, and they sort of know it subconsciously even, that's what we're going to start talking about rationalization. But getting back to this, here's why I'm saying this. Because their response is, but the dog likes to sleep on the couch or on the floor or the recliner by me or by someone else. So it's like, yeah, of course the dog does. Who would argue with that? Of course, if given the choice, a puppy is going to choose to sleep on someone's lap or the soft couch or the warm spot where someone just sat with the nice blankets, where all the action is, as opposed to some stupid crate, as far as the human's concerned. But in reality, first of all, it's not permanent. It's just until you can like get the dog to communicate with you that when it's time for them to go potty, you can facilitate that, or they just get on a schedule to know like hold it and then we'll go outside and I'll go out there. Once you can get that, then let the dogs do whatever you want. I still have a lot to say about that, but for right now, I would say just let dog do whatever it wants. But people are so committed to feeling like they have to cater to the dog to avoid guilt or whatever, or make the dog happy, that they won't even give the dog what it really needs, which is like a week-long period of that ritual to teach the dog you don't just get to go potty wherever you want, whenever you want. I've got videos about how to actually handle the walk portion of this. But inside, if you're trying to keep the dog from crapping on your $70 yard carpet, don't let him on the $70 yard carpet until he's housebroken. It's just, I mean, it's so simple. The dog doesn't need free run of the whole entire house on its own whims and momentary like wanting to express itself however it decides to. It doesn't need that. That's not what a puppy needs. And in fact, it's too much too soon. You don't, toss the kid the keys to the fastest sports car they can drive as soon as they get their driver's license. Unless they're like a trained race car driver or something. I mean, you ease into things, and it's no different when you bring a little puppy whose brain is like this big and has no social skill, no control over its bladder, into your home, which you've invested like a lot of time, money, and resources to get neat and clean. It's not doing that dog a disservice to compartmentalize it in such a way that you can still feed it all kinds of love and attention and incorporate it into your day-to-day activities while you're putting it in a chance to win in the shortest amount of time as possible. People can drag on potty training for like months into the years because they're not willing to just take a week and do it for real and just bust it out and that's it, and then you're done. And that to me as a dog trainer and just as like how I'm wired, it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what my job is. I say to people, yo, dogs teach me more than I teach them. Well, trying to figure out ways to communicate what I'm trying to say to clients teaches me just as much as I'm teaching them. I have to like wrap my brain around these concepts and figure out how can I say this in a way that's going to connect with this individual or that individual in a way that they can hear it. And I have a whole nother video about that. Actually, let me pull this up and I'm going to continue to discuss this because it's really interesting. Okay, this is what I'm looking for, and I wanted to pull it up because I don't want to just talk. I want to give you exactly what I'm talking about. It's called Lem's Law. It's an adage suggested by Polish science fiction writer and philosopher Stanislaw Lem. And what it says is, translated to English, and this is just off of Wikipedia if you want to look up Lem. No one reads. If someone does read, he doesn't understand. If he understands, he immediately forgets. That sounds like so cynical. It's like, wow, Lem, what do you think? Everybody's like literally like, oh, you're so special. Like, well, you can look at it that way if you want, but I'd rather like not have an emotional reaction to it and try and see what he means by it. Which is another way people shoot themselves in their foot all the time. If you want to get bent out of shape of something, do it. Like, you just stopped your learning of it, anything that you're going to learn from it. So let's see what he means. It sounds really cynical. It sounds like he's having a really bad day. Or it sounds like he married somebody that like just doesn't want to talk or communicate. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why someone could say something like this. Let's figure out why he say this. And when asked about it, it says in an interview with this guy who asked Lem how he came up with his law, Lem said that it resulted from his pondering upon the immense flood of publications with an inevitable repetitiveness of various conclusions. Apply that to dog training. How many videos of dog trainers are on YouTube saying the exact same thing, just in a different way? Like, hey, if you want your dog to have results, you kind of have to do this. If you want the dog to get potty trained, follow these steps. They work. And then you got your treat side and your never be saying no side. And I mean, there's all these variations, but the point is if you're trying to learn about something, there's already someone who's explained it very clearly, and you can like avail yourself of that resource, and probably already have. When I was trying to learn about, I had two pit bulls, and I was trying to learn about this stuff like way back in the day. I credit Caesar Milan. I will watch his videos like they were educational material, and I was still having the same issues. So it's not like just because I'm pointing this out that I'm like, oh, see how everybody else is, but see how special I am, and if you just listen to what I'm saying, you'll be super special too. No, I'm just pointing out things that we all struggle with, because we have to do that for one another. And in my line of work, people bring me in with the expectation of transforming their immediate reality. And the only way to make an omelet is sometimes you have to, get things a little messy, as they say. And I have to challenge people's worldviews, and that's what we're leading back to, this rationalization as a defense mechanism. And hopefully it was illustrated very clearly by that text message exchange that I read. And then Lem's Law is like, people don't listen, and when they do listen, they rationalize it. It's like, well, I can't do that because of this. Well, what's your true goal? I'm just like making these videos. My goal isn't to beat people down or throw shade at this or let you think I'm smart because I can use a fancy word called rationalization or like some Lem's Law thing. I'm a nerd, man. I like to read and learn about stuff rather than like just watch mindless drivel. Like, I'd rather like, oh wow, like I just learned about Lem's Law, some Polish dude who was dead way before I was even around. That's rad. And then like, how can I unfold that and repackage it in a way that makes sense to someone who's dealing with a real tangible problem? Like, hey, look, my dog is pottying on my kitchen floor and it's driving me crazy, and it's costing money with all these always washing it. It's ruining the floor. I want to help them. The problem is sometimes I'll provide the solution, and then they want to argue about, not argue, we're not arguing, but it's like there's this resistance, and then I have to figure out how to like juke that resistance and come back in with this like Aikido, like Zen, better way of explaining it, right? So you think this is all about dogs and that your dog is here for your enjoyment or for companionship or because you saved its life. Yeah, that's all true, and it's a beautiful thing. But your dog is also here to show you things that you would never really be confronted with having to learn unless your dog was presenting this problem to you. Some of the most like foundational things I've had to learn in my transition into adulthood has come from having to deal with certain issues that I was having with my dogs, because they bring things back into like, where is it really, what's going on, like all up in here, where's this tension, like what's going on. So that's a whole nother thing. I have a course called DMT, Dog Mindset Training, that delves into like, our dogs are actually like little angel beings here to show us like how we can transcend the issues that will otherwise keep us trapped in these realities that are like self-torture pretty much. So that's a whole nother story. I'm going to start making this format of content a little bit more because I want to engage with people in a real way. It's one thing to read this stuff or to watch my videos where I'm like filming the work, which I think are super helpful. I think those are like really the only kind of videos that really, I want to see what you're doing, watch it happen, show me how you do it, Anybody can sit here and talk, but those are the videos that I think will be the most helpful. But a lot of times these style format videos are the most helpful. So I like to stay behind the camera. I don't like put myself out there too much, but I will, because I understand the benefit of being able to, like, see how am I communicating with you? Do you think that I'm somebody that's trying to sell you something or trying to convince you something that isn't true? Because if you think that, don't watch. But I want those people who really are on the edge and like questioning my sincerity. Maybe you've watched some of my videos, but you're like, well, who is this guy? I don't even know. Like, it's not AI, I know that, but I want you to say, okay, look, this is me. These are my thoughts about how I work with dogs, and if you like buy my book, or if you like bring me in to consult with you remotely, or if we wind up working together in person, now you can get a little bit of an idea beforehand of like what you're actually getting. So I hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching.